Well, this is certainly a nice way of calling someone fat.
I'm a lot of things, a buffoon, a hothead, bad table manners, whatever, fat. I'm not anti-American. That's all I care
I
about,
wouldn't say
actually.
fat. Maybe holiday chubby, maybe.
Holiday big boned, as of course Tucker Carlson is in the news right now as he just sat down with Theo
Charlie
Vaughn
Kirk?
and went off on his theories to what actually really happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, there's a lot in this podcast interview. I listened to most of it. It's pretty entertaining, pretty fun, good podcast, but there's a lot of stir right now, specifically around Candace Owens, which looks like Tucker Carlson is backing. Now, does that mean he's automatically taking a side in the right-wing alternative media civil war 3.0? No. But there's a lot of other people that are kind of starting a war of words with each other. They're going to extrapolate all of this while Candace now allegedly has a new informant. What's really going on here as the debate about what really happened to Charlie is sparking up here once again. I have a very nuanced perspective and take on this that we're going to be talking about in this particular video that I think is absolutely worth talking about. The Jeffrey Epstein, Tucker Carlson comments also a lot more eye-opening and, in my opinion, connected to the whole kind of Charlie Kirk theoretical thinking that a lot of people have, as of course a lot of people are still in shock and are trying to find answers while the government isn't the best at being accountable and transparent. Let's just be honest with ourselves. If you appreciate these types of conversations, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us here on this independent media YouTube channel. Now, this is not the first time that Tucker Carlson has addressed what happened to Charlie Kirk, as of course he knew Charlie Kirk. He was friends with Charlie Kirk. They talked a lot. There's a video that just recently resurfaced of Charlie Kirk saying, "Go Max," to Tucker Carlson right before his SAS speech, Student Action Summit, that happened here in Tampa, Florida. I was there in attendance, and when I was there in attendance, Tucker Carlson didn't hold anything back when it came to the number one ally in the Middle East and the Jeffrey Epstein saga. And this is what I think is important to really kind of contextualize it and think about here, because at that time, during the middle of the saga, a lot of people were trying to keep the lid. A lot of people were telling people to shut up. A lot of people were telling people to go away. Don't talk about this stuff or else. And Tucker said, you know what? I'm going to awkwardly chuckle and talk about it all throughout my speech. And he did. It was a very bombastic, it was a very powerful, and I think very much needed speech. As Tucker Carlson also was working behind the scenes with Charlie Kirk, trying to get Donald Trump not to bomb Iran, and also trying to get the Jeffrey Epstein list revealed. And Donald Trump since has not done that. The latest of which is there is going to be depositions of Hillary and Bill Clinton coming up very soon. And then the release right before the holiday season, as some people are saying. That's very convenient. But Tucker Carlson came out and talked about how Charlie behind the scenes was tormented by a lot of the big donors who wanted to cancel Tucker, who wanted to stop Tucker from speaking and expressing his thoughts and opinions on the number one ally and, of course, the Jeffrey Epstein list. Something that, of course, created a lot of buzz, a lot of stir. Now, of course, he now opened up a little bit more about what he personally thinks is really going on here. I think the full video matters. I know I have my own particular questions. I think some of the questions that Tucker was asking aren't as relevant. I think there's other ones that are a little bit more relevant, but I think he comes from a perspective and point of view where a lot of people are coming from that point of view and perspective. And sadly, we're living in a day and age where governments are untrustworthy. They have ruined their reputations by just lying to us. And a lot of people understand that skepticism is now their best friend. And they are, for some people, a little bit too skeptical. Where's the right level of skepticism? Listen, with the way that things are going, for me personally, I see anything, I'm like, wait, hold on, let me question this. Everything needs a second look in this type of new society. where we were being told, trust us. And I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, I just can't. But here's a segment of this conversation that is now being shared around by a lot of people.
Who was Charlie Kirk?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I love his wife and know his wife well. And so I feel emotional about it. So, I just haven't wanted everything to do with it. But I will say a couple of things. I don't understand the official.
He's been feeling, obviously when you're closely connected to something, a lot of people have a hard time dealing with it, and it's not convenient or comfortable to talk about. This is the part right here, I cut him off right before, that is galvanizing all of the headlines.
A couple of things. I don't understand the official story at all.
Of his assassination,
I
don't understand it. And
I don't understand the official story at all. Now, this is why from the very beginning, with what happened to Charlie, I was like, listen, if you're the FBI, right, daily press conferences, update us. I know you're working on the case here. You already presented the evidence to the suspect in this court proceeding. I know judges are trying to do the gag orders, but as the situation was developing, I was specifically saying we need transparency, we need accountability, we need to make sure this never ever happens again. And if you really want to snuff out any kind of conspiracy theories, you have to be open and accountable and transparent. And the best we got was the FBI saying, we got him. And then it's like, oh, no, it's not him. And then we got bits of information that were very convenient to the narrative that made people question, really? Really? Like, the text message exchange was weird. The Patsy guy that said he did it with his pants down and running around, that's all these other world events. That was weird, right? We still don't really understand what's going on. Because of course, he's just been found with, oh yeah, underage, you know what, on his computer. Oh, just like the Las Vegas guy relatives. Huh. Interesting how that happened and transpired. It's because he don't confess. What? Again, we'll get into it. We'll play the rest of this clip here because I think it is worth talking about in full, extensive detail. Just really quickly, before we do, if you support our work, support it on lukeunfiltered.com. Your support needed now more than ever. Numbers down all over the place. I can't thank you enough for subscribing. You get access to the Discord. You get access to me. We talk one-on-one. I was just in the Discord yesterday. I'm going to be going into the Discord later on today to talk to all of you people. We have 3 master classes. We have Discord channels for every single master class that you guys decide to take, as we're going to be sharing and talking about life hacks and health hacks and a whole bunch of different stuff here, only available for members of lukeunfiltered.com. If you haven't got involved, if you haven't got engaged, this is the perfect time to be a part of this type of organization. I just set up an AMA channel where if questions are relative towards what we're talking about here, I'm going to be addressing them, shouting you out and saying, this person asked this question, let's start the conversation, which you guys are directly a part of. When I'm going to be doing live streams, I'm going to specifically be going and calling in for you guys to be able to actually be a part of them, to actually call in. Maybe there would be a cool way to do a video call in through the Discord. I don't know if that's even possible. I will figure it out. But you guys get a lot of really cool things. LukeUnfiltered.com. Sign up right now. Your support needed now more than ever. Now, let's continue on with this clip here, which I think is important to talk about.
And I want to make sure that there is a truly rigorous and honest federal investigation of it. And I'm definitely concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm concerned about it as well, because all we're hearing is the judge being like, gag order, can't talk about it, shut up. And people are like, how are you supposed to trust the system? Now, I understand you got to get your jury pool, but after that jury pool's done, we want more transparency. We want more accountability. We want to know exactly what happens here. There's voluminous evidence presented that has already been given to the number one prime suspect here, who I believe didn't act alone. I believe he had some kind of assistance in some way, and I think that potentially will be coming out. Now, whether it's furries assisting him, leftist groups assisting him, foreign governments assisting him, it is suspicious when we hear news reports of Kash Patel going to Tulsi Gabbard saying, no, you're not going to investigate foreign involvement here. This is our investigation. Bug off. And again, there always has been this type of kind of fighting internally within these agencies. But I don't want to see those type of headlines. I want to see a cooperative organization, no ego, no pride. Put all of your differences aside. Let's stop talking about Valhalla. Let's start focusing on answering some of the pressing questions here about what in the world actually really happened, get a full timeline of events here, show us the evidence presented to us, and then make a good case. So far, I would argue the feds have not done a good job at that at all.
A. B. I think that I don't know many of the details, but I know that recently Candace said that Egyptian registered aircraft were following Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, around for a number of years in different places in the world. That's one of the weirdest things I've ever heard, and I just want to say that is factually true. That's true. So that's like the one data point that I happen to know is true. What does that mean? I have literally no idea. I can't even guess, but that's very, very strange.
And what is it?
Yeah, so Candace is also saying, hey, if anyone has any information about these Egyptian guys, please let us know. So far, we haven't gotten anything. Now, allegedly, there's some kind of U.S. military source providing some kind of more context and information, and I hope we understand. Now, Tucker looks like he confirmed, oh yeah, an Egyptian plane following Erica Kirk for years. Now, is that, as some people explain, as, hey, charter jets, specifically owned by similar people or similar companies, have similar contracts with different hubs, and they fly in the same kind of routes usually. That's what some people are claiming is the kind of anomaly here. It looks like Tucker looked into it and says, yeah, it is tracking. What does it mean? I don't know. Now, again, what does it mean? I have no idea. And again, this is where we kind of go off into the more kind of theoretical. What really is kind of going on here? I don't know. And that's the type of questioning that a lot of people have that really leads a lot of people, in my opinion, astray here. When instead of trying to figure out exactly what's going on here, the pressure should be on the government. It'd be like, the government answer the gosh darn questions. And I hope the government answers that question like, hey, this is an anomaly. This is why it was an anomaly. Hey, this is a occurrence that happens a lot, and this is why this plane was traveling in the same type of airports because of this contract or whatever. The government needs to answer all that. And the longer that we get no answers from the government, just like we're not getting with Trump's first assassin, by the way, attempted assassin, the more it just breeds conspiracy theories, right? The more it breeds, people will be like, I don't trust any of these people. Because, like, we're not even getting any kind of details or information. And Tucker did a great job talking about the first major kind of attempted assassination on Donald Trump, saying there's so many different questions, and then the feds haven't answered any of them, right? We just allegedly broke the J6 story, right? That finally came out here. We're going to see how that court proceeding kind of follows and if that's going to be as told to us. But I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't know who to believe. I don't know who to trust anymore.
Egyptian, as it could mean aircrafts from Egypt. Who knows?
I think that they were registered in Egypt.
Got it.
And but that fact is true. So enough. And it also her claim that, there were kind of a disproportionately large number of foreign registered cell phones at the event. That's also true. So what does that add up to? I don't know, but it means that
he brought up the cell phones. Candace got data and information saying, oh, there's foreign people there. There's usually foreign people with foreign SIM cards. There's usually foreign students, right? A lot of people are like, okay, that's there. Is it really an anomaly or is it something that really does happen? I don't know. I would need more studies. Let's go to that campus and let's find out who has foreign SIM cards. Now, again, does foreign SIM cards prove anything? No. Can we look into it? How many university students are foreign? A couple. Do they still have the same SIM card? Sometimes. Now, cell phones have dual SIMs. You can have multiple SIMs. So, does that prove anything? No. And I feel like we're kind of left on these wild goose chases, as the onus should be on the government.
You know, the FBI has a moral and legal obligation to look in every direction and to be open-minded, as you would in any investigation, in journalism, in science. It's all the same process. I don't know the answer, and I'm going to sift through everything as open-mindedly as I can, as honestly as I can, to get to what the truth is. That's science, that's law enforcement, that's journalism. It's all the same. That's justice. And I just want to make sure that is happening, and I just don't have a ton of confidence in the FBI or the men who run it.
Yeah. Now that's big, right? Because Tucker knows Dan Bongino, he knows Kash Patel. He's talked to these guys before, and him saying, I don't have trust in these guys, highlights a situation and a scenario where who can you trust at this particular point here? As, listen, either they're dragging their feet, or especially when it comes to all the other stuff that we're still waiting for answers on, or they're being told to step down and to shut up. Either or, it's not a promising type of situation here, and it kind of sucks.
And I'm not saying that out of ignorance at all.
That's a scary part too. 'Cause
What Candace is saying is clearly causing a lot of turmoil. Is it true or not? I can't assess it. I'm not the FBI. I'm a freaking podcaster, but I do know how the system works, and it's really simple. The FBI has this case, and of course the state of Utah. It's their job to not only find out what happened, present it to the public in a way that restores some confidence that you can have justice in this country, that we have functioning law enforcement. I don't have confidence in that, because there's a lot of evidence that we don't have that. So
this is what I've been arguing from the very beginning. The FBI needs to reassure the general public, and I argued that's far more important here. That should be priority number one. Now, I understand people want the legal court proceedings to go a certain way, but I believe there's too much kind of stringency and control that, of course, is making sure that they're being overprotective, in my own personal opinion.
to restore confidence by being honest and telling a story that makes sense. So why, and if they don't do that, and they haven't done that, they have not done that, how can you be mad at Candace Owens or anyone else for filling a vacuum that they left?
Yeah.
Well, Candace is okay, no. The people with the authority are the ones responsible, and they're the ones who should be held responsible when there's a failure.
And listen, there's a reason a lot of the people on the right are fighting, and I think Tucker has the right approach here, and it's the approach that we've been kind of talking about from the very beginning, saying, look, we shouldn't be fighting, trying to understand what's really going on here and accusing each other and just tearing each other apart. We should be calling for more accountability and transparency from the federal government. And unless we get it, we're all screwed anyway.
Not some podcaster, not me, not you, not Candace, the people whose job it is. And their default assumption was we acted alone. Really? Why do you think that? What about life suggests that people typically act alone? When was the last time you acted alone in anything? I don't go, right? So A. B, we know that people had foreknowledge of this because they posted about it on X and said Charlie Kirk is going to be killed on this date, and he was.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is true. People are saying, but threats are going around pretty wildly. The people who don't believe in the conspiracy are saying, oh, no, it's just threats. But those threats should be investigated, and we should get an answer saying, okay, this IP, we found this person, we interviewed him. I want that from the FBI. We haven't gotten that. And there were messages, especially on Twitter, saying on this date, Charlie's going to get it. Hello? Can we get some kind of understanding of this? FBI is like, I'm like, no, they don't understand. This is of key utmost importance. And it's the FBI that's ripping us to shreds here, not people who are asking questions.
Yes, it's true.
Like, were they just guessing? Was it a guessing thing where every day they posted that?
Maybe. Have those people been interviewed? Have they been hauled into FBI HQ and had a long conversation with how they knew that? Like, let's get really specific. Why did you post that? Who have you talked to? Like, if I were doing this investigation, because I spent my whole life doing non-criminal investigations called journalism, like what do we know is true? How do we find out? Call everybody, be open-minded. It's like it's the same process. If I was doing this investigation, they would be at the very top of the list. We know because we've got public postings on Twitter that people know, just like on 9/11. We know people bet against American Airlines and the banks that were in the World Trade Centers. They shorted those stocks.
Record put options. And I remember talking about this in the early 2000s, right? 2004. I was like, why is there such weird stock activity of people predicting the failure? Why is there people putting in these huge insurance policies? Why are these people putting all these huge put options that are extremely suspicious, extremely weird, extremely anomalous, made no sense at all, and then they profited very handsomely from it all? As of course, people literally got warnings. Mayor Willie Brown of San Francisco literally said, I got told not to fly. I was told not to fly. I canceled my flight. He's the guy that gave Kamala Harris her start on her knees. Anyway, and he wasn't just one of these people. Multiple people got warnings. There were multiple warnings. Multiple people profited. We didn't know anything about it. Get out of here.
Those people clearly had foreknowledge of 9/11. Who were those people? We still don't know.
Exactly. So if evil government forces are able to pull that off, you're telling me in the mind of the people who are paying attention know what's going on. You're telling me that they can't pull off something else against individuals, right? If they're willing to make that kind of gross, horrible, disgusting maneuvers and to either let it happen or make it happen to cause thousands of people to lose their existences, you're telling me they don't have the scruples to do it against individuals? Come on. And this is why, in the mind of people who are more skeptical, they're saying, look, we need more transparency, we need more accountability, we need more truth here, and unless we get it, there's no reason to believe anything. That's my particular take on it. Do you think Tucker's right? Do you think Tucker's wrong? Right? And I hope I was able to explain some of the kind of thoughts and theories out there that a lot of people are understanding from their rational point of view. If you thought I did a good job at that, share this video. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me on LukeUnfiltered.com, subscribing, clicking the notification button. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching, and this is why I try to end every single broadcast by saying, love you guys, stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechanged.